If you dumped out a lava lamp and poured in real lava, the glass would just instantly shatter. Instead, you would need to carve the jar out of solid sapphire just to withstand the heat. And to avoid the water turning to steam, you would need to float the lava in molten glass. But since the heat would make them both glow, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. And without a heat source, the lamp would start cooling quickly, meaning in just a few minutes, your lava lamp would just be a rock in a jar. Imagine you run a hotel with an infinite number of rooms, and each of these rooms has a guest staying in it. But then, one more shows up asking for a room. Now you might think there's no space, but your hotel has infinite rooms. So you just have to ask the guest in room 1 to move to room 2. Then room 2 moves to room 3, repeating all the way to infinity. Now you have an available room for the new guest. But what happens when a bus pulls up and it has an infinite amount of passengers? You would need more than just one empty room. So to make sure you have enough space, you ask every guest already in the hotel to double their room number. The people in room 1 go to room 2, and room 2 goes to room 4, room 3 to room 6, all the way to infinity. Now all the odd number rooms are empty, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. And since there are infinite odd numbers, you can fit every person from the bus. And this is possible because infinity isn't just big, it bends logic, making space where none should exist. If you drive behind a truck hauling logs, could they really fly off and smash through your windshield? Well, each log weighs thousands of pounds, more than a small car. And to keep them in place, drivers wrap them in heavy steel chains pulled tight with thousands of pounds of force. Even if the truck hits a bump, those logs barely move. And in a crash, they'll slide and shift forward in the trailer. For a log to actually launch, the chains would have to be snapped and the truck would need to hit just the right angle at high speed. But even then, most of the force would be pushed downward, not towards your car. Tape is placed over the pin to stop it from getting caught on a tree and accidentally exploding. But these grenades already have an extra safety clip, and the pin can only be removed if you twist it, meaning a tree couldn't actually pull it out. But if a soldier needs the grenade, pulling off the tape takes precious time that could cost them their life. As the tentacles slide down your throat, their suction cups can latch onto the walls of your airways, making it hard to breathe. And that's because even after an octopus is chopped up, its nerves keep firing, meaning each suction cup can still grip and react on its own, clamping onto anything it touches. So if the pieces aren't fully chewed, they can get stuck in your throat, still moving. And if you're not careful, the tentacles can seal off your windpipe completely, choking you in just minutes. Slide your finger under the gold bar, tilting one end upward. This gives you just enough space to grip it from the edge. Then move all your fingers to the underside, while keeping your thumb on the top. This makes it easier to balance the heavy bar and keep a firm hold. Slowly inch it upward, letting the edges slide against the hole's surface. As you lift, angle it slightly to clear the tight space without getting stuck. Pull your hand out and the gold bar will slide smoothly through the opening. The dog waited loyally for his owner to step off the train, and he did this every day for years. But one day, the man didn't return. You see, he had passed away at work, but there was no way for his dog to know. And for almost 10 years, he stayed at the station, waiting for his best friend to come home. Other passengers would feed him, and his story spread across Japan. But finally, he took his last breath, still waiting at the same spot. Later, a bronze statue was constructed in his honor, but it was melted down for ammunition in World War II. He picked up the penguin, which was covered in sticky black oil, and took it home to clean it. Over the next few days, he fed it fish and nursed it back to health. But when he went to set it free, the penguin followed him home. Even after it finally left, it returned a few months later. And for the next 8 years, it swam 5,000 miles every summer just to visit his human friend. They were placed on the soles of the agent's boots, secured with a sturdy strap. The overshoes disguised their footprints, making it appear as if they were someone else. Some soles mimicked the prints of civilians, or even animals like bears. When they were worn backwards, it reversed the direction of their steps. This made it impossible for enemies to identify their footprints and follow their trail. The helicopter dropped a rope into the prison roof, wobbling as it hovered. You see, the pilot was married to a convicted bank robber, and she was desperate to have him back. She spent just 4 months learning the basics before taking to the skies alone. Meanwhile, her husband convinced the guards to let him exercise on the rooftop. And as soon as she appeared, he pulled out a fake gun and climbed aboard. The couple escaped, but after just 4 months, they were caught. And this time, they were both sent to prison. After hatching, they crawl and head for the ocean, but crabs and birds wait on the beach to eat them. As they crawl over the sand, many are caught before they even reach the water. And if they do make it, fish and other predators hunt them as they swim. Only a few baby turtles survive long enough to grow into adults. And years later, the survivors return to the same beach to lay their eggs. His teeth were infected and fell out, so by the time he became president, he only had 1 tooth left. It was removed to fit his dentures, but they weren't made of wood like you might think. Instead, they were crafted from the teeth of animals and even other humans. But they barely fit and were painful to wear. This made it hard to speak, and he even avoided smiling, which is why he looked so grumpy in all of his portraits. He collected the frozen iguanas, thinking they were dead. You see, in his country, iguanas were a common food, so he loaded them in his back seat, stocking up for a feast. But as the car warmed up, the cold-blooded lizards began to thaw, and one by one, they came back to life. In a panic, they scrambled over him, causing an accident and making him lose his meal. If you lit a cigarette while pooping, the toilet could explode in a huge fireball. That's because all the waste was stored in underground pits. And as it decomposed, it released flammable gas that traveled up the pipes. Even if you flushed, the moving water could actually push more gas into the room. And if too much of it built up, a single spark could ignite it, causing a massive explosion. He suddenly collapsed after spraying himself with half a can of deodorant. And when his body was found, they uncovered another 42 spray cans in his room. You see, he didn't take showers, and instead used deodorant to cover up the smell. But this is mixed with a flammable gas to help propel it out of the can. And as he sprayed himself, he inhaled it, which caused him to suffocate and die. An apple is placed onto the metal prongs, locking it in place. As you turn the handle, a gear begins to rotate, causing the apple to spin. Then a sharp blade presses against its surface, and this shaves off the peel in one long curling strip. With each turn of the crank, the blade moves smoothly around the apple, following its shape and removing the outer layer. And within a few seconds, the apple had been fully peeled.